Okay, so let's do this question, alright? The reaction below is known as the Fermat's reaction. So in any question, they may give you the context, okay? Something you have never seen before. And then which is used to form molten iron to mold chain tracks together, okay? What mass of the aluminium powder is needed to react with 8 grams of iron trioxide? So first we see an equation right here. The first thing you want to think about is whether it's a solid, liquid or gas. Or you can say solid solution or a gaseous equation. Now, as you know, aluminium is metal, so it must be solid state. Okay, you see an oxide, it doesn't sound like a gas, right? So this is what you think about. Most likely that in solid state, of course, under very high temperatures, you are able to dissolve or melt, let's say melt. You can melt ionic compounds, because this is a metal and a non-metal. You can melt ionic compounds to get a solution or to get a liquid, alright? But for now, you seem to be looking at something with solid, and for any solid, you're looking at this equation, alright? So which is going to be mass, triangle, okay, you will have moles, and relative atomic mass, or you can also call that the molar mass, or you can say the relative formula mass. Okay, so far? Okay, so you first think about what is it. If it's not a solid, then it could be a solution, depending on what syllabus you're doing. So the information given is 8 grams of iron trioxide. So we're going to put 8 grams right here. Alright, and on here we have the mass. Okay, we have a mass of 8 grams of iron oxide over here. This is the only information is given. And what are you looking for? The amount of aluminium powder. You want to find out what you want. So let's put a question mark over there. Okay, so this is what we're doing right now. So the information that you can get as well would be the molar mass. Okay, the relative atomic mass or the relative molecular mass or the relative formula mass right there. And so let's look for the one for iron oxide. Alright, so in your exams, you go to your periodic table and you look for iron right there. And the mass number of iron is 56 and then oxygen is 16. Okay, you always look at the bigger number. Okay, 56 and 16. So if on the side you say, okay, so this is going to be 56 times 2. Okay, so this is 112. And that's going to be 16 times 3. So you're going to get 48. So together, that will give you 160. Is this okay so far? Okay. So 8 grams and the relative formula mass is 160. So looking at our equation, we have the mass. Yes, we have that. We also have the relative formula mass right there. So all we need to do now is to get the moles of the iron oxide. Alright, so let's find a calculator. Okay, so 8 divided by 160. Alright, so it was 0.05. What we have right there is the moles. Okay, but it's not over yet because you're looking for this. You want to know how much aluminium we have. Hence, we now have to utilize a concept called the mole ratio, which is this equation is perfectly balanced. It's given to you already. So the ratio of the reactants to the products, 2 to 1 to 1 to 2. Looking at the coefficients in front of the number. If there's no number, that means 1. The two compounds you look at, or the element and your compound, is 2 to 1 ratio because you see a 2 here, no number here, so 2 to 1 ratio. I'm going to put this ratio here for you to see. 2 to 1, okay? So, if we do this, if you think about it, if 1 to 2, I have to times 2. So if this is the mole ratio, it applies to the moles as well. I have to times 2. Times 2 times 2 is 0.1. You are going to have 0.1 moles or 0.1 mole of aluminium. Now we look for the relative atomic mass of aluminium right here, which is 27. So let's put 27 here. Okay, so we now have a relative atomic mass and a 0.1 value of 4 moles. So look at this triangle again. We now have two quantities. We have the moles, yes, and we also have the relative atomic mass. All we have to do now, because we want to work out the mass of aluminum powder, so 0.1 times 27. Okay, so the answer is quite obvious, but let's just do it in a calculator. Times 2 for the mole ratio, and then times 27. So you get 2.7. Okay, so the final answer in your exams you say 2.7 grams of aluminium. Okay, so this is your final answer. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember to subscribe to Invictus Education. Cheers!